Welcome guys to this presentation. Happy New Year. Welcome to 2021. This is Wayne's Glew. It's called well, we titled it the Wayne Glew Law of the Constitution and States Constitutions. Of course, he goes through explaining different things. So we're starting the new year, I think, with a bang. He's explaining that how unlawful the whole system is, like for example the Parliament, federal Parliament, as we discussed before, state parliaments, also the fact that state parliaments that did not exist, or the states themselves did not exist before not the Constitution in 1900. So I'm putting the links in so you can come back and have a listen to it. It runs for about 45 minutes, and that way you can come back, even comment, and just go through it that way. But all the descriptions will be in the commentary area or description area. I'll look forward to your comments on this, and as I said, we're back.
Good morning. This video is to specific people plus others. Mark McGowan, liar, thief and traitor. Peter Cook, liar, thief and traitor. And all the current sitting Parliament. And to all the pedophiles, and you are all pedophiles, in every Parliament in this country, including the Federal Parliament. Because you all know about the hiding of charges to be brought against pedophiles in this country, and you've allowed it to happen. So under the Commonwealth Criminal Code, you are party to all of those offences. Much has been said and attacks have been made on me, my wife and others in relation to unlawful local governments, and they are unlawful. City of Greater Geraldton got some idiot reporter, did a big story, tried to claim different things. He lied, they lied, but that's not unusual. They're protecting their own backsides for going to jail for treason, but not for much longer. You're going to jail for treason whether you like it or not, and you can't do anything about that. Now, all the lies told by Van Stein in relation to the court case are exactly that, lies. But then he's a lying, thieving traitor, and he's going to go to jail too. Get that, Shane? You're a lying, thieving traitor. I know, you'd like to smash my head in. You just haven't got the guts to come in front of me yet, have you? Ignorant, arrogant fool. Now, when you brought the charges against me in August 2018, I filed a living testimony in the form of an affidavit to the Geraldton Court on the 11th of December 2018. What I propose to do is read that and answer a few of your lies and crap that's been fed around trying to justify councils. They can be a government department. They can be a roads board looking after roads and footpaths. They cannot now or any other time without our permission take control of our property. Otherwise you wouldn't keep asking us. But you do, because you know you're a liar, you know you're frauds, and obviously you're stupid because you can't work out what the word no means. Anyway, this is my testimony in the form of an affidavit. Case number Geraldton /DOUG 333/2018. Wayne Kenneth, the family Glew, living, breathing man of 1004 Chapman Road, Glenfield, Geraldton, Western Australia, residing at 24 Hagen Road, Glenfield, Geraldton, Western Australia. Make this living testimony in the form of an affidavit. I, Wayne Kenneth Glew, the family Glue, CPO, OWB, Commonwealth Public Official, make oath and state as follows. I formally challenge your ability to establish a lawful court, being a gathering under the sovereign as described in HCA 29 of 2009 at paragraph 20 for the following reasons. When you read that decision, and that is binding on the courts, judges and people of every state, like it or lump it, Western Australia is the state of the Commonwealth, because it's the people in a designated area, and if you think it's anything else, you're a lying nutcase. Validity of courts, laws and decisions. Paragraph 1. The Commonwealth Constitution states that the exercise of authority throughout the Commonwealth is under the Crown, but none of you idiots are officers of the Crown. The state of Western Australia was created under 107, 108 and 109 of the Commonwealth Constitution Act 1900 UK and the Commonwealth Constitution 1901, and draws its authority from those constitutions. You're going to say it doesn't, but I'll get to you idiots in a minute. The state constitution continues after federation, subject to the Commonwealth Constitution 106 and altered in accordance with its constitution, not amended, changed or repealed. The reference there is HCA 48 of 1996 at paragraph 17. You know that, McGowan, because it was your idiot Parliament deciding it was a government through Jim McGinney put that crap to the High Court and it got thrown out, and you're bound by that decision. You and all legal practitioners must swear the oath of allegiance contained in the Commonwealth Constitution and the State Constitution, Schedule E, which was unlawfully repealed using the Oath Affidavit and Statutory Declarations Act 2005 WA, an act of fraud and treason against the people of Western Australia. I put that to the magistrate. I showed he was sitting in treason. He was personating an officer of the Crown, and he said, that's your opinion. No, it's not. It's the law, you fool. The law that's going to put you behind bars. How stupid are you to sit in our court and dribble your crap on that day? But that puts you in direct contravention of Section 44 of the Constitution. You were not sitting under the Crown. You were incapable of sitting, because I accused you openly in court of being a traitor, and you were a traitor. You are a traitor, and that stands until a lawful court takes that out. And there isn't any. And you know there isn't any. The lawful oath authorises you under the British Accreditation Registry to sit and take up any authority in the Commonwealth of Australia subject to the coronation oath of the monarch and the common law being Magna Carta, 1688 Bill of Rights containing the Statute of Monopolies, the Act of Settlement, Habeas Corpus, the King James Bible, the only instrument that constitutes a lawful court in this country. But you know that because I handed that court a copy of HCA 44 of 2010, where the Chief Justice of the High Court stated very, very clearly that habeas corpus, 1688 Bill of Rights, and all other common law is law in this country. Law in this country. And you can't get around that. So you're bound by that decision too. Your authority to exercise authority is created by the lawful oath which makes you a Commonwealth public officer, not a public officer being an employee of a company, which all of you fools are. You changed the law because you knew you couldn't prosecute anyone because the defence that they're not officers of the Crown couldn't be used against them. So you're employees of a company, so you charge us with interfering, hitting or whatever a public officer. An employee of a company? That's just a common assault. And when they're trying to exercise authority on your land, you have the right to throw them off. That's the law. Real law. Not your acts and statutes. Without the authority of lawful Crown contained in our Constitution, you, the judges, politicians, public servants, police and legal practitioners, not lawyers, have no authority. Lawyers are prohibited by the King James Bible to exist. Fact. No lawful Crown authority, no decisions of any state courts, no laws from the Parliament, meaning no laws passed that do not comply with our Constitution have any authority whatsoever. No lawful oath, no authority, no right to sit, no lawful court, that's the end of the story. This gathering cannot sit until it can establish an authority under the Crown. And you can't because you haven't sworn the oath. This authority must come from 12 of my peers sitting in a lawful court, which we don't have. What the above defines is that until you swear the lawful oath contained in our Constitution, you cannot establish a court as defined by our Constitution. A lawful oath establishes a gathering under the sovereign as stated in HCA 29 of 2009 at paragraph 20. A court is a gathering under the sovereign. Nobody else. Not the bush chook. Not Plucker Chook from Queensland or any other idiot. The lawful oath was unlawfully repealed from our state constitution. using the Oath, Affidavits and Statutory Declarations Act 2005, clearly a breach of 106 of the Commonwealth Constitution, which is the only authority for the state constitution to continue after federation, subject to the Commonwealth Constitution and altered according to their constitution. Reference HCA 48 of 1996 at 17. Clearly this has not happened. Until the state constitution are returned their original form as required by the letters patent issued by Queen Victoria on the 29th of October 1900, there can be no lawful courts, judges, magistrates, politicians, laws or decision, nor can any authority be exercised over the people. Using anything else is treason. And just so you'll get it through your thick head, this is the Constitution, the only one put in place by Queen Victoria on the 29th of October 1900, by letters patent. On the back it says how you will vote. Not how you think you'll vote, how you will vote. Being that this is a letters patent, you can't touch it. You can't even amend it according to 106 of the Constitution, because the imperial law in relation to letters patents overrides the constitutional ability to alter it. You want to argue that, take it to England, because you can't argue it in Australia. Now, lawful oath establishes a gathering under the sovereign, as stated in HCA 29 at paragraph 20. Cause a gathering under the sovereign. The lawful oath was unlawfully repealed from our state constitution using the Oath, Affidavits, Statutory Declarations Act. And you know that because I read that to the court. Didn't I, Milosevic? And it states in the Magistrate Court Act that your oath is from the Oath, Affidavits and Statutory Declarations Act. That an unlawful act put in place to remove Schedule E from our state constitution. So you sat there after that in treason. Until the state constitution returned to the original form as required by the letters patent issued by Queen Victoria on the 29th of October 1900, there can be no lawful courts, judges, magistrates, politicians, and so on. The sale and control of land through the new Commonwealth. Prior to Federation, all land in Australia was sold from the Crown to the people by the Queen's representative being the governor who issued titles, and through a commissioner transferred land, all in fee simple, granted to the new owners by Chalice Real Property and Imperial Act, free of fee or fine, fully alienated from the Crown. No, you idiot McGowan, and you, John, where the hell do you get the idea the Crown still owns it? You know what alienate means? Oh no, you can't even work out a two-letter word that says no. You're so stupid, traitor, liar, thief. After Federation and by letters patent, the Governor and Council carried out the sale, transfer and issuing of titles on behalf of the Crown. The Governor and Council, no government department, nothing to do with you. At no time was any authority ever granted to the Parliament established by the Commonwealth Constitution over land, nor was a new entities called states granted authority over land under 107, 108 and 109 of the Commonwealth Constitution, which establishes those states. Now Sudi and Prater would have you believe that that was law existing before Federation. You're a liar. Read the annotated Constitution, section 51, and read it. You will find that was not the case. Section 51, subsection 38. It explains why. Because we had 4 months and 25 days of imperial law. The colonies and the Australasian Council ceased to exist, so did all their laws, their rights and everything else. But it states in our Constitution, but even if that wasn't so, there were only 7 legislative authorities, and all 7 are contained in 51 of the Constitution. There's no authority over land, you lying pair of idiots. Free man delusion? The only delusion is that crap sitting between your ears, Sudi, along with your stupid book, made up of little pieces pulled out of little decisions of the High Court, which are absolute dribble and crap. And you are a filthy, lying traitor. You're more than likely a lawyer or a group of lawyers, given the amount of names that pop up. And Jeff Elliott. You used to be a headmaster of local schools in this area. You're a good headmaster, but you've got next to nothing between your ears except for BS. And a big, poor pile of it. And the rest of you idiots that go on to that site. If the new states or their constitution were altered in any way which changed the compliance terms, then those states lost their authority to exist and can then only continue under the control of the Commonwealth Constitution until they conformed. This only continues subject to the Constitution. You change them, they don't exist. You can't work that out. Go back to school, you morons. When the people refused to allow the addition of local government to the Commonwealth Constitution in 1974, that decision had two effects. The referendum was unlawful, as it would change the Commonwealth Constitution when the right to alter it is only granted. And you knew that, so that's an act of treason to propose that change. The people who are both sovereign and supreme said no, and that means no, you can't have it. When each state parliament of the Commonwealth added local government to their constitutions, they committed treason against the will of the people and made their constitution inoperative because they were repugnant to our constitution. That took place in 1979. In Western Australia, the Act was number 88 in 1979. See, filthy lying traitors. Labor government, what do you expect? Idiots. Socialist idiots. On Saturday the 3rd of September 1988, the parliaments of the states tried to mislead and deceive the people into accepting unlawful local government with it conspiring together with the federal parliament by referendum. Now, that newsletter put out by the idiot reporter and put on Geraldton Now, and it keeps popping up now and again, it says it was an attempt by the federal government to force the states to have local government. They already had it, you nutcase. It was not. It was to add 119A to our Constitution. An act of treason, because that would change the Constitution. And then it was by 4 questions. The first question, do you approve the continuance of local government? We said no. You can't continue it. Well, why we still got it? Do you approve the establishment? We said no. You're still doing it. You're still lying, and you're still committing treason against the people. Am I correct? Yes. Why? Because the Constitution says so. So you're nothing but lying, thieving traitors. The people again said no. No meaning no, you can't have it. The state parliaments lied and misled the people into believing they had the authority to continue local government using the courts and punishment. That's why. We have the right to ignore unlawful laws. And I did. So you keep dragging me through the court and lying and lying and lying. And idiots studying law and being reporters, you're all nutcases anyway. None of the news media in this country has any right to exist. You're all liars, thieves. The state parliaments claimed they existed as states prior to federation, and that our constitution just sat over them and gave some authority to the new federal parliament. This theory was put to the test to the High Court by James Andrew McGinty and others versus the state of Western Australia, being the people. HCA 48 of 1996 at paragraph 17. The theory was proved to be nonsense, and it is nonsense. They were colonies. They ceased to exist on the 9th of July 1900, and the states were created on the 1st of January 1901. Anything else from you is nothing but lies. No residual powers. There were no powers. That decision removed all doubt about the establishment of the states from colonies to the states. All decisions of all courts in all states granting any authority to states to exist without conformity to our Constitution was negated, along with all laws, acts, statute, rule, regulation and decisions of courts as they all went down the drain. The Australia Acts and the Australia Act 86 was one of the acts that were an attempt to seize control of our Commonwealth and give it to the unlawful political parties posing as government. So when did you put that to the people? None of the conferral of the states. When you read 5138 in our annotated constitution, they said they didn't have any power at federation because they didn't, you lying, thieving traitors. You didn't have any. Why? When was the big celebration in Australia to bring in the new federation? It was May 1901, so you didn't have anything before then. The first parliament sat in June 1901, so you lied about that. So at federation, what powers did you have? None, because you weren't even established. Liars, traitors. It's time for people to stop feeding these liars, thieves, cheats and deceivers of the people any money. Until any gathering called a court sits under the authority granted by our Constitution under the provisions of Chapter 3, it does not lawfully exist, state or federal. The lies have just ended. They are fraud. Fraud vitiates everything. Out at inception, you can't figure that one out. Go get your dictionary, it explains it very clearly. Western Australia, the state that does not exist of the Commonwealth of Australia. On the 29th of October 1900, Queen Victoria put the state constitution of Western Australia in place with a letters patent to come into effect on the 1st of January 1901 at Federation. That constitution and the constitution of every state were put in place in their complete original state and continued subject to the Commonwealth Constitution and altered in accordance with the Constitution. 106 of the Commonwealth Constitution refers. This one. Now, when you look at HCA 39 in 1915, Sir Samuel Griffiths sat on that. Sir Samuel Griffiths was one of the people who wrote the Constitution. Paragraph 148, he said, "Here you find Section 106 binds the state constitutions and all laws made pursuant to it." I won't say dogs, traitors, sewer maggots. That's where you all jump out of. That constitution, the constitution of every state, were put in place in their complete original state and continued subject to the Commonwealth Constitution and altered in accordance with the constitutions. A letters patent was put in place to continue the office of governor in each state along with a letters patent for the Commonwealth Constitution. Now, 9th of July 1900, Commonwealth Constitution proclaimed. Isn't that nice? And you're bound by it. Isn't that nice? Letters patent for the office of governor. Letters patent passed under the Great Seal of the United Kingdom, constituting the office of governor for the state of Western Australia and its dependencies in the Commonwealth of Australia, dated the 29th of October 1900. Victoria, by the grace of God, the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Ireland, Queen, Defender of the Faith, Empress of India, to all to whom these present shall come greeting, whereas by certain letters patent under the Great Seal of our United Kingdom of Great Britain and Ireland, bearing date at Westminster the 25th day of August 1890, we did constitute the office of Governor and Commander-in-Chief in and over our colony of Western Australia. It was still a colony up until 29th of October.